Hey guys, as you can see, I am at the homepage for the Research Paper Wiki, and the idea behind a wiki page is to provide a bunch of different links and information for, in this case, the research paper, for y'all to have at your disposal, at your fingertips as necessary. If I scroll down, you can first see that I have the countdown for when the research paper is due right here. It is November the 10th, so I have 85 days for that research paper to be due. And obviously, the days that you will be looking at this number will change. On the right hand side, you have a couple different options to look at. We have our calendar, contact, discussion board, evaluation, goals and standards, helpful links, paper description, paper information, required materials, rubrics, and a means of submitting your final draft. If I quickly go through here, we're going to start with calendar. You guys will be able to take a look at when things are due. Okay, so what you can do is scroll down through here and take a look, and if you notice, once we get to Monday the 26th, that's when things start popping up for our research paper. And this is the first day back from Thanksgiving break. So if I were to take a look at the first item here, I see that on Monday the 26th I have homework, which says to gather required materials. Well, I wonder what gather required materials might mean, Mr. Ice. If you notice on over here, it says required materials, and that is what I'm referring to. That is what needs to be taken care of by Monday, the 3rd of December. It's important to look at the calendar often, to always check back on the calendar, because sometimes dates change. I will remind you in class if they do, but sometimes they might change, and I might forget to tell you, or we might be just too busy to cover that, so it's important to always keep up to date on this. And you can always add the Google Calendar to your Gmail account if you have a Gmail account with your parents' permission, or if you have a smart device like an iPhone outside of school, you are welcome to sync up to this calendar as well, which will provide you some additional information here at this link. Okay, so all you would do is right click and open, and it'll explain how to sync to your Apple device, which is kind of neat. We also have a discussion board option here. I clicked on discussion board, and I'm just going to go ahead and click on Writer's Huddle. And this is where you would provide your topic choices and your questions if you have any. Just simply click on that, and what you'll do is I'll give you I'll give everyone the same login and password for this, and you'll just enter your topic choice once it's been approved, and then sign your name on it. And the same goes for the questions portion. You can ask questions here as they come up as well. Here's your evaluation portion. Not a whole lot to worry about with this right now, guys. You will be coming back to the survey at the end of the research paper. Goals and standards. Not a whole lot to worry about here either. This is mostly for me and or your parents if they're interested to see what we are learning and how it coincides with different standards and expectations that I might have. Helpful links is something that we've talked about before. It has popped up a few times, and like I said, we have a couple of different options here. These are all relatively the same ones that we've used before. One thing that I would like to show you is text to mind map real quick. And text to mind map is something that you're going to be using to develop and design your own pre-writing map. As you can see, on the left hand side, it has everything listed with the months of the year, talking about spring, summer, autumn, winter, and it basically just breaks it apart over here into a nice pre-writing map. Well, say I want to create my own, and I've decided to write about my favorite animals. And say I've got a dog, and I like dogs because they're cute, they're cuddly, and they're good companions. Okay. I would then click Draw on My Map, and as you can see, it puts this together for us. You can move this around, and you can obviously add more. All you have to do is go back and forth and click Tab, which is the way of indenting. It's on your keyboard, and you just update it like that. You know, obviously I wrote down bird as my favorite animal because they're fun. And you're going to be adding on to this. This kind of goes along with the way we've done pre-writing maps before in class. But since we're talking about research papers, you're obviously going to be adding much more main ideas that go along with your topic. And ideally, you'll be able to break it down a little bit more and more. If you guys can think of back to the inverted pyramid that we talked about a little bit last year, it's kind of the same idea. Start with a big idea up at the top, and then wind it down to a smaller idea. And we'll talk about that more in class. But then you have the option of downloading the PDF or the image, or saving it, or sharing it. You're not going to worry about sharing, but downloading is probably the route that you want to go. It lets you download, and in here it's going to show me to keep it, and it'll load very, very quickly, I hope. And as you can see, it has become a PDF, and I can print this, and that's what we're going to be doing once we get to the pre-writing stage, is we're going to be printing these so that we have our pre-writing maps all put together. And it'll just be a little bit easier to do that way. Alright, so backing up, that is of course our text to my map feature that I wanted to show you. We also have our Dropbox account, our Diigo account. Diigo is brand new. Basically, it allows you to put together bookmarks and everything for pages that you might find interesting or vital to your research, and then being able to access that at school. Dropbox account is something else that you're going to have to sign up for if you haven't already. If you forgot your Dropbox account information, there's you can easily just go there to that website and indicate that you forgot, and it'll provide you a way of accessing your password. And we'll talk more about these featured websites once we are in class. Here's our paper description. Okay, this is something that should look familiar from last year once it loads. We are going to be working through what's called a web quest, and it's kind of a worksheet that corresponds with this. So I'm not going to talk too much about the description or the information pages here, but as you can see, you have your length requirements here that are itemized, and it talks about choosing a topic and sources and citing. What is unique here that I want us to take a look at is who is going to be taking care of our topic approval. As you can see, we have computer science, which will be Miss Karen. Philosophy and psychology and religion, this is brand new, is going to Father Clyde. So if you notice that you have anything about that sort of stuff, you're going to be talking to Father Clyde about that. Miss Spinella will be handling social sciences, history, and geography. Technology and applied sciences, that will be going to Miss Begay. Arts and recreation to Mr. Revo. I will be personally handling literature and language, and Ms. Lede will be talking about mathematics. So anything that you need approved or discussed, that is where you're going to go. And again, our feature websites that we talked about. And this is also a breakdown of the different project elements and the point values. As you can see, our notes are going to be 5 points each. Our first several outlines are going to be 10 points, rough draft 15, revised draft 15, and our final draft will be 25 points. You also have a project and poster presentation, which is basically going to be like kind of like the project boards and the poster fair, which will be graded separately inside of your reading classes. So you're going to be getting a separate reading score of 50 points, and you're going to be provided those rubrics a little bit later on. So if I scroll back up, I'm going to click paper information. Like I said, this is going to be worked through primarily through your Wiki web quest, which we'll provide a little bit later. But as you can see on the right hand side, we do have the feature to click on the table of contents, which really jumps you to certain spots. So as you can see, I just click plagiarism. It takes me to the plagiarism section. So it's a nice way of getting back and forth between areas in the event that you get lost or you don't finish a section, you can't remember where you left off. We have a required materials section, guys, which is very, very important. I want us to take a look at this. You need to have these in your class daily, okay? You have your pencil, your blue or black ink pen, highlighters, which I want lighter colors, please. At least 30 4x6 inch line note cards, 8.5 by 11 inch, which is just the regular note paper. One subject notebook, a gallon size Ziploc bag, so one of the larger ones. Post-it flags, which we should all know about by now, but if you don't, this is what they look like. Okay, your post-it flags should look a little bit like that. Okay, and these are available at Office Max. You can pretty much pick them up anywhere, and they're relatively cheap. A large clasp envelope. This is what it should look like. Okay, something like this, just a manila envelope that we've worked with before. And then you need to make sure that you have your internet and book sources once we start in with that, and your Dropbox and Digo passwords, which we will make sure that you set up. Notice how this says rubrics on the right hand side. It's plural, but as you'll notice, there's only one right now. Those other rubrics will go up as they are posted by your reading teachers regarding the presentation aspect of it. Here is the rubric for the research paper that you will be graded on, and you can go through this a little bit later on your own if you prefer, but it is available for you to view prior to it coming out and you being graded on it originally. And lastly is you're submitting your final draft, and we're just going to go ahead and wrap up the presentation with this. As you can see, I have some step-by-step instructions. What you're going to be doing when you're submitting your final draft is that you're going to click on this site, drop it to me, okay, and it's got the website already there, so you don't have to worry. Notice how it prompts you for a password, okay. The password is provided right here. It's Blue J, all in lower caps, okay. So Blue J. And once it goes through, what it's going to do is it'll pop up with a screen that lets you choose a file, okay, and there's a picture of me. Say if I wanted to go ahead and submit that, I would double click that and then click upload, and it works just like it did last year in that it connects to my personal Dropbox, and I will be able to have the information there. So then you would click upload, and then it would show that it's processing. Once it gives you the confirmation screen that it's processed, it's gone through, then you would simply log out. That's all you have to do. And it's just not as complicated as last year. I found an easier way to do that. Okay. And as I said, all those instructions are right here. They're indicated to you. They are pretty straightforward, so you'll have that available for you. Okay, good. So I know that was a little bit of a lengthy explanation, but I think I covered just about everything. Like I said, things may or may not change regarding this wiki. Obviously, the countdown will be continuing to count down until the day that it is due. The calendar will be updated accordingly. And it's really, really important to just always refer back to this site. We will be using the iPads and other familiar technology to access this information. So I hope you're ready, and I hope you're excited to get started, because I know that I am. Alrighty, I believe now I'm going to go ahead and I'll let you begin with the web quest. If you have any sort of questions, now is the time to ask. Alright, thanks.